this is not about Gary announcing his retirement. No, I'm having too much fun. I'm having the time of my life, and I'm truly working because I want to. And it's not about my retirement, but it is about yours. And I had a wonderful experience early in my career to learn a lot about the different tools and resources that are available for dentists to successfully retire. But the point that I want to make in opening this is that I don't care where you are in your season of practice. If you're an early career doctor, if you're a mid-career doctor, if you're a late career doctor, and let's even go earlier than early career. Maybe you're even pre-dental. We have listeners that are pre-dental students, Aaron. I think you know that.
Yes.
And we have pre-dental listeners, which I love the fact that we have listeners that are just at the very, very embryonic stage of their career. But regardless of where you are, I think that concept of what's habit number 2, Naren, by Stephen Covey.
Is it begin with the end in mind, or is that
begin with the end in mind?
That's the one, number 2. Yes.
Habit number 2 is begin with the end in mind, and with that theme of begin with the end in mind, I think when we start your career, we should be thinking about down the road towards retirement. Not that you want to spend every waking moment spending time and energy on that. That's not it at all. But one of our goals, we have 7 goals for a thriving practice. One of our goals, goal number 2, is to have enough revenue from your practice to create financial independence. And what does it mean to be financially independent? My definition is the day that you can go to work because you want to, not because you have to. Just what you said earlier, Naren. Yes. The day that you can go to work and from a technical standpoint, from say an accounting or financial planning standpoint, that would be the day that you had enough resources to provide you annual income equal to your income every year without ever touching the resources. Because if you're depending on depleting those resources down, then eventually you won't have those resources to, provide you a future income. So it's the day and time where you have enough resources that will provide you an annual income without ever depleting those resources. Does that make sense, Darren?
Absolutely makes sense, Gary. I think, it's freedom, right? I don't know. I think for me, life is all about freedom. It's that chasing freedom.
Yeah, it's freedom.
Freedom to do what you don't want to do with your time, freedom to do what you want to do, everything. It's freedom.
Freedom to work with who you want to work with.
Yeah.
In dental, freedom to treat the patients you want to treat, freedom to be surrounded by team members that you truly love.
Yes.
It's truly freedom. And to get a little bit more technical here, and I'll just make up a number, Naren, but, let's say a listener had $400,000 in annual income. That I'm making up a number, put in your number, whatever that is. The day that you have $400,000 a year coming from your resources, your financial resources, without ever having to deplete those resources, then you are truly financially independent.
Yes.
Because your income is now coming from some other source. It's not coming from your income. And that's our goal for that goal number 2, is to help our clients get to the point where they can practice because they want to, not because they have to. And I've had the privilege of working with many, many, many dentists that have achieved that. And I've been part of their advisory team to help them do that.
We have a mutual client, right? I don't want to name his name because we don't have his permission, but he has the time of his life. He spends time with his daughter. He goes skiing in the middle of the week, and he has his unbelievably successful practice.
You bet. So, I want you to know that this idea of financial independence is absolutely something you can achieve. Something you can achieve. Now, it's not going to happen by accident. A great analogy is, I've never known of a mountain climber to end up on the top of Mount Everest by accident. Can you imagine? Hey, I'm going to go for a hike somewhere in Nepal and, just have some fun out there. We'll see where we end up. And you end up at the top of Mount Everest. No, that doesn't happen. And I'm going to politely say that's never going to happen. It happens with a lot of intention. So you're not going to get to financial independence accidentally. You're going to get there through some intention. So some concepts, though, about retirement. I think of my father's generation. I lost my dad 10 years ago. 10 years ago, my dad passed. I think of my dad's generation. And my dad's generation was such that most people worked for one company their entire life. They got a week or two off every year. That was it. And then hopefully they had some kind of a retirement that allowed them to live, to not be in the poorhouse, in their retirement years. But it certainly wouldn't be defined as financially independent, at all. But today, retirement's a little bit different. And retirement can take a lot of different forms. And one of the things about dentistry is if you love what you're doing, why wouldn't you want to continue doing it? If you really do love dentistry, pardon my enthusiasm around dentistry, but I think dentistry rocks. And why do I think dentistry rocks? Because we have the ability to change people's lives every day. And that adds meaning and purpose, to your life. Why would you ever want to stop doing that?